Hey guys, so the last set of weapons I want to talk about are the Trials of Osiris weapons. Now these are the weapons you can buy from Brother Vance once you hit 7 wins on a ticket, can get randomly in a gold tier package which is 8 wins, or can get from the chest in the Lighthouse on Mercury. The Lighthouse chest awards adept versions of these weapons, which basically means that they have an elemental property on them. The elemental property that can be put on them is random, it can be any element. So before we start, the issue with these weapons is that they cannot be reforged in any way. This would be fine if we were still in Classic Destiny or Dark Below, but now that people have the freedom to choose their bonuses and perks, well, that puts these weapons in an interesting situation. They're either going to very much be the best or not be worth using at all because you can get something or reforge for something better. These weapons are balanced around being good in PvP. That will come to be very obvious as we start going over the weapons, and rightfully so, as these are weapons that you get from PvPing. So, let's review them. The Summoner is the auto rifle, and it's the good kind of auto rifle. You'll find this recurring theme of these weapons being in their most powerful form throughout the course of the video. High impact, good rate of fire, good stats otherwise, 27 bullets in the chamber is really solid too. The bonuses that come on it are great for PvP. Third Eye and Hidden Hand are very good PvP bonuses, although Third Eye is not super amazing or anything, and the second column options that you get are Hammer Forged, Flared Magwell, and Perfect Balance. This is an insanely good auto rifle and is going to see a lot of use if auto rifles get buffed. It basically has everything you want for PvP, it's pretty good in PvE as well, and you get a ton of good bonuses to choose from. What's awesome is that Third Eye and Hidden Hand normally come on the second slot for bonuses. They're typically mutually exclusive, but not on this weapon. Your alternatives for the Summoner are going to be Pest Control Matrix and Her Right Hand if we're only talking about weapons that you can still get in the House of Wolves, which, well, we are. Now you can get a better optimized PvE auto rifle from reforging the PCM or Her Right Hand, something like Crowd Control, and maybe Outlaw might be a slightly better PvE focused setup. But if you wanted to use the Summoner in regular PvE, that is totally fine too. If you wanted to roll with something other than Third Eye in that first slot, you could get something better like Icarus, Battle Runner, but Third Eye is still totally usable and only beneficial. The Messenger is the Pulse Rifle. It is the high damage, low rate of fire style Pulse, which I personally like a little bit more than the high rate of fire ones, but they can both be really good. Now, if you're familiar with something like 3 Little Words from the Dark Below, then this is basically the next iteration of that weapon. Really high impact, really good stats. Third Eye, once again, on this weapon, along with Headseeker. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of Headseeker. In PvP, it only adds 3 damage to a headshot. It does 26 to the body and 38 to the head normally. If you get the most out of Headseeker on every single burst, it does 6 damage less than if you just hit with all 3 shots to the head. Of course, not every burst is always going to connect with the head, so it's not like the bonus isn't beneficial, because it is, but I'm not the biggest fan of bonuses that require you to hit the body first to gain a critical shot bonus, unless the bonus actually makes going for those types of shots end up doing more damage, as opposed to just hitting every single shot to the head. The second column of bonuses it comes with are really good though. Extended Mag, Flared Magwell, and Perfect Balance. On stats alone, this weapon is pretty good. Some alternate weapons are going to be the Spare Change 25 and the Hopscotch Pilgrim if you aren't a huge fan of Headseeker or Third Eye. Unfortunately, those alternate weapons are earned randomly. The Spare Change is a random Crucible drop, and the Hopscotch is a randomly earned PvE reward. I personally like Red Death a little bit more than this because it basically takes the same amount of bursts and damage to kill a target, and the bonuses that come on Red Death are really good for PvP. It is one of the only counters to Thorn. But if you want to use your exotic slot on something else, the Messenger is still an excellent PvP weapon and pretty good for PvE as well. Jewel of Osiris is the hand cannon. It's basically a Red Hand X or a Her Mercy with slightly better range, stability, and reload overall. It's the good rate of fire and damage kind of hand cannon. Main bonuses are Icarus and, you guessed it, Third Eye. Now Icarus is pretty fun, pretty good bonus overall to have. It really takes people by surprise because you're typically very vulnerable in the air. Removing that vulnerability can take people by surprise. Third Eye is Third Eye. The second column of bonuses consists of Snapshot, Flared Magwell, and Perfect Balance, so you have good options available, and it does come with Sure Shot IS, which is the best hand cannon sight. I think that if you wanted to reforge out of Third Eye, you could go something for like Hidden Hand and go for an Icarus Hidden Hand roll, which would be a very, very good hand cannon, but this hand cannon is still pretty good as is. But it's nothing beyond what you're already capable of getting. The Scholar is the Scout Rifle. This is the super slow firing style of Scout Rifle. Now, Scout Rifles in Crucible aren't in the best spot right now, mainly because hand cannons are basically as effective as them at most ranges. This does have hand cannon-esque damage, it does kill in 3 headshots. The bonuses are Outlaw, great, Reactive Reload, not as great, in fact, not even really that close. Hand cannons right now are basically the reason you're not going to see this used terribly often. It's not terrible, but you need to adopt a more passive playstyle to maximize kills and minimize deaths, a playstyle that isn't really the greatest on every map, whereas hand cannons are basically really good on any map. It also leaves you pretty vulnerable to any sort of aggressive play, something like Blink Shotgun, which is very popular right now. In PvE, it's a pretty good scout, especially with something like Void damage on it, since Vision of Confluence and Fang of Virute are Solar and Arc respectively, and those are basically the best PvE scouts and among the best PvE weapons in general. I think VOC and Fang are a little bit better. I haven't done any DPS calculations to actually prove it, I'll just say that right now. The only scout rifle in the game that you can actually get in the style of the Scholar is Gillion's Demise from Iron Banner. It's not the best thing in the game, but it certainly isn't the worst. Moving to special weapons, we'll start with Astral Horizon, the shotgun. Now this is the Fellwinter's style of shotgun, really high impact, dreadful rate of fire, and it comes with void damage. It's a pretty good void shotgun. I consider this to be more of a PvE shotgun than a PvP one though. Shot package might as well be the norm now on shotguns, and when you have so many options right now, Fellwinter's, Matador 64, Judgment, and they can all be reforged to get shot package, I just don't see the Horizon competing because Shot Package is just plain better for PvP than Army of 1. Replenish is a decent bonus on a special weapon, could net you an extra 10 to 15 shots per round of PvP, but it's not the end of the world if you don't have it. Army of 1 and Replenish are pretty good PvE bonuses though, as you'll be maximizing their potential much more in a PvE setting. The middle column of bonuses gives you some pretty good options all things considered. You'll probably be taking Flared Magwell for any PvE purposes. Exile's Curse is the fusion rifle. This fusion rifle has the second fastest unbuffed charge speed in the game. Only Light of the Abyss charges faster from Crota's End. Hipfire is alright, it's probably best on fusion rifles for obvious reasons, but Hot Swap is still a bonus being debated. I haven't seen many people talking about it too much, but that's because accuracy is still shrouded in a little bit of mystery. Hot Swap lasts for 5 seconds and has no internal cooldown, so you can keep swapping to your weapon over and over. But the timer does not constantly refresh every time you swap. You gotta wait the 5 seconds, then swap back if you want to do that. So for PvP, yeah, this is a pretty good fusion rifle, all things considered, handles pretty well, really fast charge speed, is highly valued in PvP. Middle column isn't super great, but fusion rifles historically have not had many good bonuses. You're probably not going to use enhanced battery because it already has 6 shots in the magazine, which is more than fine. In PvE, it's just a regular fusion rifle, it's whatever. I value higher impact in PvE versus charge time to really maximize damage per shot, and something like an Ascended Murmur is still going to be really good in PvE. The Frenzy is basically this weapon's equal, except with the luxury of reforging, but most of the time you're not really using a fusion rifle because of good bonuses, but because of good stats. Eye of Soul is the sniper rifle, very fast rate of fire, one of the fastest firing snipers in the game, second fastest in the game, but the fastest firing sniper that still has the capability of killing in 2 shots. It's very similar to Prudence 2, which was a very popular sniper rifle back in the day thanks to its very high aim assist. Eye of Soul has some of the highest aim assistance for a sniper rifle in the game right now. Pretty good scopes on the weapon as well. Army of 1 is maybe not the best, but is going to be somewhat useful since I'd say a good amount of sniper kills are indeed unassisted. Unflinching is theoretically good, but has been under scrutiny by a lot of people for seemingly not really doing anything. It's kind of difficult to test for though. Center column of bonuses are alright, nothing overly amazing. Overall, pretty good PvP sniper, very much worth using. Tomorrow's answer is the rocket launcher. This is a fantastic rocket launcher. Tripod for 3 rockets, and grenades and horseshoes are very good bonuses. Comes with warhead veneers and javelin to boost that velocity, which is a little bit lacking. I literally have nothing else for you on this rocket launcher. It's just really good. Vendor rocket launchers like Exodus Plan and the Fear are comparable, but it'll be very rare to get all of those 4 bonuses on a rocket during a reforge. Tomorrow's answer, absolutely fantastic. The Infinite Theorem. This heavy machine gun is the super slow style heavy machine gun, although a peg below Yolder's hammer, it's in the Defiant Gravity, the Swarm, BTRD style of machine gun. Bonuses are pretty unsurprising, Third Eye and Spray and Play. Spray and Play is actually pretty good on a machine gun in PvE, but not as great in PvP. This is a good machine gun, good stats, but it's nothing spectacular. You have perfect balance and high caliber rounds for some PvP-PvE flexibility, but this isn't anything you couldn't put together via reforges on a BTRD or a Pacifier X. Spray and Play is pretty replaceable, and if you wanted to swap out Third Eye for something like Counterbalance or Hidden Hand, I wouldn't blame you, making other machine guns slightly more favored since they can be reforged. A good machine gun, but not anything crazy amazing. That is my Trials of Osiris weapon review. As you can see, these weapons were built to be insanely good stat-wise for PvP, which in turn tends to make them pretty good PvE weapons as well. Their only downfall is that they can't be reforged, which can give the edge to other weapons obtainable in the game. Most of these weapons, if not all of them, are going to be worth using in some capacity, so if you score one, level it up and see how you like it. That's going to do it for me though. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.